Okay, on to the next track in Khazar's Rhythm Riot Custom Series, man. This is another Hua Chenyu. Like I told you, the last 4 of his series is Hua Chenyu, which I absolutely love. The last 2 we did was absolutely fantastic of his. The very first one we did of Hua Chenyu in this series was one of my absolute favorites, if not my favorite of anything Hua Chenyu's done, although I love most of what he's done. This one is called Great Sage Equal to Heaven. I can't believe that there's still so much that we haven't reacted to or even seen or heard, because this is all brilliant. I mean, this is like little gold nuggets that are still coming at me, and I didn't know were out there, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Khazar. Once again, I apologize for the delay in getting these last few out. And I appreciate the patience. Let's get straight into it, man. Let's wrap up this series. Let's go. Hey, we're going into the raps. Okay, wait, let's go back. I should read what he's saying here. Jeez, he is spitting over here and he's saying some real stuff. The needle from the deep ocean pierces the storm, while the twist, the mountains break and the waters shake. Has a heart that is not arrogant. Hey. Hey. Very empowering song so far. So it's almost like a battle cry to a certain degree if you actually had to read the lyrics. I mean, he's spitting quite fast, but the whole premise of the song is that, you know, even through this, all the storms, all the rough waters, all of the weaving mountains and whatever else, I will conquer all of that either way. I'm the great sage equivalent to heaven, which I think is quite cool, the way he's actually, it's actually propping himself up. It's this warrior mentality, which I think is really cool. What did he say there? Sharpen your what? Sharpen your vigilance. That's awesome. This over here is actually basically telling you things that you actually need to hear. Who hasn't? Because you tend to think like, when these things happen to you, right, you tend to think like, oh, you're the only one that has done that, or you're the only one that has disappointed yourself, you're the only one that's let people down, or let yourself down, right? Didn't achieve the things you wanted to achieve. So you have all these regrets that have piled up. But then over here he says, who hasn't climbed the tall tower alone? Right, I have, you have. Okay? Who hasn't sacrificed for their dreams? I have, you have. Who hasn't walked in solitude? Everyone has. Battle cry, man. What did he say about love and hate? Love and hate under the moonlight. I like that line. Wait a second, that is a great line. For hundreds of years the silent furies smoke has wounded you. So it's basically saying, it's like you can't, it's not just about your current existence or what's happening in your life, right? It's a linear thing. It goes far back. Everyone's suffered. You share in that suffering, and you share in the privilege of what other people have done before you as well. So the only antidote is a sip of bitter osmanthus. I don't know what that is. Osmanthus wine. Finishing the job in a hurry. So that kind of thing is kind of like numbing yourself to your pain. I like that. Even heroes have headaches. Power song. I like that he's saying over there, sharpen your vigilance, right? Because that is basically how that is how you get over things, right? Having this mentality of, okay, you've got all of these issues and everything's piling up and everything's stacked up, so therefore I'm just going to sort of like ignore that, right? You kind of blur your problems around you, and a lot of people do that, myself included. People do these kind of things, right? Where they blur their problems around them, and they pretend that they're not there. And the only way that you're actually going to solve each problem is you don't have to tackle them all at once, but you can tackle one at a time. But you need to sharpen your vigilance on that type of problem. So you need to sit there and you need to have complete and utter focus on the problem. It's like, okay, these are going to be the solution. This is what I need to do to solve this problem. And you need to have like tangible, attainable sort of ways of doing that, right? You got to be completely realistic. This can't be blurred for you. Right, you need to sharpen that up, and the moment you do that, the moment you start focusing on something, right, where you become a lot more aware about the situation that you're in, and a lot more aware about the environment that you're in, and what is happening. That is when things start actually to resolve themselves. Right? Because you're not in this cloudy abyss. It's like you're literally taking the fog away and you're just tackling it head on and say, okay, this is the problem. This is the realities of these issues. This is what I've got to do. These are all the tasks that I have to do. And I'll tackle them one by one. Right? That's sharpening your vigilance. That's sharpening your image. Not your image. That's sharpening your view. So that it's a warrior's mentality. Never say die, regardless of how much it piles up, right? It's just never say die and focus one thing at a time. Focus on one thing at a time. Like he said, heroes have headaches too. Everyone has headaches, right? Just because actually the higher you go, the more problems there are. Your problems are probably less significant than many other people's problems in the world, right? So it's all about just complete and utter focus, and bringing those trials and tribulations into focus, and then tackling them head on. And that's basically the premise of the song. It's literally just having the strength and the power, and you have all of it. You're not this timid, docile individual that should be sitting in a corner and crying about everything. Get up, tackle it, man. That's just the way it goes. And move forward with your head held high. Love it, man. Fight harder, right? Tackle everything, pick up your burdens off the ground, and move forward with your head held high. Because even if you are in those issues, if you are tackling them, right, no one can say anything. So you're not hiding from them. You're not trying to deceive anyone, be like, oh no, throw out 1,000 different excuses. You're just tackling it head on and say, like, this is the situation. This is how I'm going to resolve the situation. I'm sorry. But then that people will be like, you know what? It might be upset about the situation, but at least he's confronted it. There's a respect there, right? He's confronted it. He's human. He makes mistakes. He's taking care of it.
跟我一起放纵，放纵，放纵，跟我一起放纵，放纵，放纵，跟我一起放纵，放纵，放纵，跟我一起放纵，放纵，放纵。下的爱恨情仇随我。 寸痛的实心不是都能够追来，你为何没有怀念？受伤的烟火，心中伤口，记住的只有一口放纵的规划，就留到收工。可是苦衷没人能懂，原来英雄也走走险，爱静静的笑容，然后的夜空化作心底若我的彩虹不空，是伟大权的异形家族风华色情天下，去到了真假，我是先走天下。
Sheesh. Mad. Oh, he killed that. Absolutely killed that. But I've said this before. Firstly, he's multi-talented. Secondly, his delivery is absolutely incredible. He's got this very, very unique way of delivering, man. You can feel it, and I've said it in a couple of my reactions where it's very natural. It's not even performative. You know what I mean? He's feeling, like he feels it. You can see the passion. You can see the emotion and everything in the way he delivers. It's like, it's just him being him. It's not a performance, and he's always done that. It may seem sometimes like it's a performance. I think on the more commercialized stuff, the stuff that is just, you know, crowd pleasers and stuff like that, he tries to add like a bit of a performative element to it. But his more in-depth tracks where he's trying to hit a point home and he's trying to do it with conviction, or whether he's, you know, doing a storytelling piece, is just so natural to him. It's like, this is just what he loves doing, right? And even though you get that level of what seems like extrovertedness, the introverted side of him, which I'm almost certainly sure he is, does seep out. It does come out of that. It shows that there's a level of uncomfortability amongst these crowds and in the spotlight, right? And I think that level of vulnerability is what makes Hua Chenyu unique, because you can feel those human, you know, it's not robotic. You feel those human moments in a lot of his performances. But anyway, you let me know what you think down below. And this was great. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.